your darling dork.
Welcome, Darling Dorks fans. It is your Dose of Dork here with Amy and Carmen.
Sup, nerds?
And we have special guest with us today, Jacob.
Hello.
D squared plus Jacob.
And Tech Wizard Tyler, as always. So, today we're just gonna, as always, just talk about some random crap we feel like talking about. Today we're gonna talk about the idea of choose your own adventure in media before Tyler kills Carmen.
I'm sorry. I just dropped the pamphlet.
Quickest way to death, piss off a audio recorder. So right now everybody's obsessed with Bandersnatch, the Black Mirror episode that just came out, which is choose your own adventure themed. What do we think of the idea of making our TV shows choose your own adventure?
So
More TV shows as video games. Let's go.
Could we just back up for 1 second? Because so the episode is about people that get to watch TV and pick how it ends?
No.
So, disclaimer, none of us have actually watched it. We're going to, we just haven't yet, but we wanted to discuss the idea.
Yeah, okay.
So it's this guy, and you're going through his life like you do in the Black Mirror episodes.
Yeah, okay.
But it'll give you a choice, be like, which type of cereal are you going to eat?
And you literally pick.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
And then there's a bunch of different endings depending on what you pick.
Holy crap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, it's a big thing. Like, some people have now put out videos discussing all of the endings because they've done it all. But I've heard it takes hours to even get to one ending.
I've heard 5.
So,
it's 5 hours
I've
long.
heard 3 to 5. That's kind of the time frame I've heard.
What did you say about video games, Jacob?
So, this kind of started because Netflix originally had a partnership through Telltale Games for the Minecraft story mode, and they brought it to Netflix so you can actually play through Minecraft story mode as a video game through Netflix.
I'm
and that's
pretty
kind of
sure
how...
I heard about that from my 7-year-old nephew.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing.
Wait,
but...
why would you do that instead of just playing Minecraft?
No,
But
it's
for kids who don't necessarily have
an
access
adventure.
to Minecraft,
It's
right?
like a story, like, adventure thing. It's completely separate from, like, actually, like, building things in Minecraft.
Okay.
It's just a Minecraft themed story.
Oh, okay.
But you actually play through it through Netflix. And so this is kind of like expanding on that concept, but also like making it less of a video game and more just like a choose your own adventure novel type thing.
Okay.
But like this is a really interesting thing that we could have here because I've always been a fan of like interactive mediums, and like there are certain points where watching something where I sit there and I'm like, God damn, I hate the decision you made just now. Like,
yeah.
I would do anything for you to have rewritten that scene, and that's exactly what you can do with this.
But at the same time, don't you use media as a form of escapism? So if you're having to make choices while you're watching TV, to me, that takes away some of the escapism of it in, like, living somebody else's choices in life, right?
Counterpoint. If you were watching something to escape from reality, why would you watch something that actively makes you anxious or nervous because the character is an idiot?
Why do people watch horror movies? Because they're crazy and they like that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm not crazy and I don't like that.
I don't either.
Well, then, there you go.
But I love...
But, like, part of the medium of, like, TVs and movies is a screenwriter has written a script to happen a certain way, and by watching it, you're, experiencing that story that they've written.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a choose your own adventure, you're, like, taking it over? I don't know. I just have weird feelings about it. Tech Wizard Tyler, you have a point to make?
You've played D&D, yes, Amy?
Yes, but I'm terrible at it, but yeah. I guess it's true, but I'm not... I'm not great at Pathfinder, so I kind of appreciate other people's stories, and that's usually what I consume media for.
Well,
but I'm not a big video game person, so maybe that's why.
Well, but also I feel movies and TV are the writers, the creators' time to make a point or to tell a story. There's usually a moral or some like opinion of theirs, something they want to say about the world, and it's just like art, right? Just through the movie or through the TV show, that's what they're trying to do. So by involving you in it, it's almost like an artist inviting you to add something to their painting, and it's really interesting. But
Are you?
I can kind of see that.
Or what? Sorry, what, Jacob?
Are you guys familiar with the movie The Time Traveler, where a guy basically builds a time machine and keeps trying to prevent the death of his wife or girlfriend?
Isn't that the time traveler's wife?
I'm not sure if it was that one,
No,
because there's
'cause
two
that
very
one-
similar
The Time
type of
Traveler's
movie.
Wife, I think it's just he has, like, this, like, genetic ability to travel through
Yeah.
time.
Oh.
No, this guy, like, builds a time machine, and then eventually it screws up, and he gets sent to the far, far future where basically the Earth's destroyed. But
That sounds like Doctor Who.
the thing is, that the whole first half of that movie's story was built upon the premise of no matter what you do, you're not fixing the situation.
Mhm.
So what if you did that through a medium like this, where all of a sudden, like, you feel like you're in control, but no matter what you do,
Mhm.
narratively, this guy's screwed. Like,
Yeah.
and it just takes you on this roller coaster of trying to help this poor guy live his life that just, it won't happen. Like, there's, if you're trying to think of this as like a thing to put in regular movies, I don't see it being necessarily a good thing. But if you lean on the what if concept really hard with this, like, scriptwriters have to have that thought
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like, they have to go like, well, I mean, I kind of wanted it to go this way, but thematically it works better this way. At this point, they can have that option open.
So I have a question though. So it must take so much more time and money and effort to put together something like this. Why do you think what are they trying to accomplish by doing it? Like,
But this kind of goes along the whole lines of the Black Mirror anthology format. They're just kind of tweaking it a little, right? Because all of us here have at least seen something Black Mirror,
Yeah.
right? So it's another aspect of horror, right? Because if you're put in charge of the decisions and that ends up making you kill your character
mhm.
or someone your character cares about, that's on you. You caused that, and you have to deal with the emotional impact of that decision.
I've never had that problem in D&D, I'm just saying.
No, but this is different, right? Like, this is a little.
So I think it's important to realize that they're not actually treading new ground with
Yeah.
Bandersnatch. They're taking something that video games have been doing for the past decade and changing the medium a little bit, because Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, those type of games that are mostly movies that you play as video games exist. They're semi-popular and they're semi-interesting.
Mhm.
And so it's more like sliding a little bit more into the movie aspect and farther away from the video game aspect.
Just like
But
a
the-
new demographic.
Yeah,
almost.
but the idea of interactive medium and people having the capacity to change the story they play is actually something that's well developed in video games right now,
Yeah,
and it's very popular.
Oh, that's
but
fair.
I think it applies to Black Mirror because Black Mirror is about the horror that comes from advances and relation to technology, right?
Mhm.
So they're using this new technology to this type of media to express this, like, whole horror genre stuff that they're usually going for, trying to mess with your head. Like, there's some episodes like White Bear.
Mhm.
Spoilers if you haven't seen it. It's about this woman whose mind gets erased at the end of every day, and she's trapped in this park where the public gets to go torment her because she was part of the killing of a child. Imagine if that episode would have been done in this choose your own adventure format.
that'd be wild.
But it's crazy to think about because I remember watching that episode, and when you get to the end and you realize what's happening, you're like, oh my god, I'm torturing someone.
Yeah.
Right? So there's those implications of you having to, like, think about your actions and what you're doing. Also, White Bear, that whole premise is actually, I think, related to a real case in the UK, which I
Oh.
heard about on a true crime podcast. Super interesting. Look into it. Great. But, I mean, I just think it's Black Mirror trying to find it like a new avenue.
But like
right?
that's not really different than video games where you get to decide.
No, but this is TV, right?
Yeah.
It's not a video game. It's trying to,
So-
like, bridge the two.
Yeah, which
The
is
thing about with Netflix is, though, like, it's not standard TV format. And the fact that you're able to sit on your couch and binge something for 12 hours straight if you so desire is
Yeah.
exactly why this works.
yeah,
Because you couldn't really do that with television with constant interruptions and the fact that it was, yeah, you could sit there and just watch stuff, but it's not the same level of engagement as something on Netflix is.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, to bring up another, like, movie reference, there's a movie that came out in the mid-2000s, I believe, Gamer.
Yeah.
Very terrible movie.
Oh, terrible.
But the concept of it, where a guy is taking control over someone else's life. Now, if we're really going to get into the spirit of Black Mirror here,
Mhm.
you would take this concept of a choose-your-own-adventure and then make an episode based on that concept, where someone's in the background making these decisions behind someone else's back.
But there are so many episodes of Black Mirror that would transition so well to this kind of format of choose your own adventure. I think it's them, like, trying to figure it out, right?
So do we think that this is A good idea or a bad idea?
My concern is I don't want them to use it as a gimmick.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be like, let's do no. Do the episodes that make sense, because in the context of Black Mirror as potential horror material, I think it's great because it's getting people more invested in their decisions.
Yeah.
And like in the episode, but as long as it doesn't become a gimmick, I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think I love the idea of trying it just for the novelty of it. We'll see how it goes, and it'll either be awesome. I think it's an awesome idea, though.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and to put a little extra spin on it,
Yeah.
Netflix kids. A lot of kids could spend their time doing choose your own adventure style stuff with kids shows.
Instead of watching the same movie 800 times in a row.
Yeah.
They can watch the same movie with slight variations 800 times in a row.
And parents probably wouldn't want to shoot themselves in the face.
Well, and it would probably be a little bit more engaging because like
More opportunities for lessons.
a lot of people kind of lean on the whole like we're just going to distract our kids. Kids are smart.
Yeah.
Kids will they get bored. They'll want to do other things. So that I could see that being a better angle for it. I wouldn't want to see like every like major studio try to make their own choose your own adventure thing because that would eventually it would get stale really quickly. And let's face it, like it's going to be a lot of people trying to compare themselves to Bandersnatch. It's not going to be like, oh, there's this cool idea and we have our own interesting take. It's just going to be them trying to cash cow the idea.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But no, I think it's great for now.
Yeah, for now. All right, well, I think that kind of sums up what we were all thinking. So for myself, Carmen, Jacob, Tyler, thanks for listening. Go check us out on all of our social media, Darling Dorks Podcast, gmail.com, Darling Dorks Podcast on Facebook, and at Darling Dorks Podcast on Instagram. So we will talk to you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Pet your puppy.
The Darling Dorks podcast is produced by Fourth Wall Creations, bite-sized clips for your bite-sized lips. Ears. Music for Darling Dorks was made by Showbiz, who are releasing their debut album Illusion this upcoming spring. Thanks for listening.